I swore that I was done with the Bryan Kohberger videos, but I keep seeing people pushing the same ideas that there are a bunch of holes in the case makes no sense, what about this, what about that? There is nothing in this case that doesn't make sense given the evidence provided. We've already explained all of it again and again and again. How could he have killed 4 people being in the house for that short period of time, given his weapon and the element of surprise, and that you had people in different rooms? I'm surprised he was in the house that long. What about the roommates and the delay in calling 911? That's a failure to be able to accurately put yourself in that place, in that time, in that situation. Especially that kind of environment, that town, that age range, and the histories of those people. None of it is mysterious at all. So why do people keep pushing it? Why do they think there are holes in the case and things that don't make sense? For most of this, it's because they had a theory early on that they stuck to in spite of the evidence that came out. And rather than take the evidence and revise their theory, they tried to force the evidence to fit their theories, and it didn't, because their theories were wrong. So to them, it looks like there's a whole bunch of stuff that doesn't make sense or a bunch of holes in the case. I mentioned, I don't know if I did this in a video or in a live, but I mentioned in the Nancy Guthrie case, in the very beginning of that case, before we had any real information at all, I did a video just playing the stats of what I thought the profile or demographic was of who did it, right? As more data came out, I revised my theory because my original theory was based on the absence of data, just from what we had at the time. As we got more, I revised my theory, and my theory changed because of the revised information. That's the way we need to approach these things. Not that we are right from the beginning and we're just going to ride or die with that, because you can very well, early in a case, if you don't have the information, be wrong in what you think it is. You have to revise as you go through. And in the Kohberger case, the biggest thing of all is that if he was innocent, if he didn't do it, he wouldn't be sitting in jail right now serving a life sentence without parole. He would not have been sitting in jail the whole time leading up to his plea, if they had anything that could get him out. Ann Taylor's a very good lawyer, and if she had anything that was legit, Kohberger would have at least appealed to try to get him out on bail. And he definitely would not have done a plea and abandoned the whole idea of a trial, right? So this is a case that's closed and done. Everything about it makes sense. What I enjoyed, shouldn't say I enjoy seeing it, but what we're seeing more and more now is some of the people online who are pushing things that accuse the families or the survivors are starting to get cases brought up against them. They're getting court cases against them. The one person, I forget who that was, if it was just a theorist or a psychic or whatever they were, who pointed at one of the professors at University of Idaho, that person just got nailed in a court case for several $1 million. So if you're one of these people online still trying to push accusing family or roommates or someone else, you're going to have to be very careful if you're putting that online, because you could get a court case coming your way. You could end up in court over that. This case is a done deal, and people just aren't letting it go. I still see people who most of their account is this case. It's done. It's over. He's there. Life in prison, however long that is. I will say that given how Kohberger is handling prison right now, I shouldn't giggle at that. I still think he is in a window right now of probably a year left there of where he is at high risk to take his own life because of the reality of prison life. If he makes it past that, he may get to a point where they give him more access, and then he's at risk from other prisoners. So Again, he may have lived longer if they did give him the death penalty and put him on death row than he will with the life sentence. Again, Jeffrey Dahmer is an example I always give of that. Dahmer in Wisconsin, they didn't have the death penalty, so Dahmer got life. And he made it not quite, I don't know if he made it even 2 years or just a little after 2 years before another inmate took him out. Dahmer is a case that if he had received the death penalty, he would have lived longer than he did with the life sentence that he received.